Well, John, 3 points at Fratton Park, our first home win of the season. How good does that feel?
It feels amazing. There's a mixture of, I think, enjoyment and the fact that we've won the game, and we're delighted with that. It feels a bit of a tinge of frustration as well, because that performance has been there for the past week or so, and we haven't managed to get the results, and we should have more points on the board. But that's done now, and we've got the capability to do that. We know that we can now, or hopefully it clicks in terms of the boys' heads, that we can perform to that level against a really well-established championship team with some really good players and a very, very good head coach, and come away from games winning them in the end relatively comfortably. So hopefully that clicks with all the boys, and it's just great that we're not sitting here again after a really good performance without the points, because we finally managed to put it all together.
The obvious place to start, Colby Bishop. What's the story there?
So Colby's been training with the first team for about 6 weeks. We just weren't sure when he was going to be back, because of the fact that we needed to tick off all of the scans this week. So I think he had 3 scans this week and had to see the specialist to tick that off. So there was every possibility that something comes back in one of those, and we're not happy with it. So we wanted to keep it under wraps anyway, but we wanted to keep it under wraps to make sure that nobody got too carried away, just in case one of those did come back. The final one was cleared on Thursday. Anything did come back and we weren't able to play Colby. I thought it would be no good to anyone if we said, he's going to be fit for this weekend, and all of a sudden he's not back till January. So thankfully everything was cleared there, and because we've been doing all the work on the training pitch and keeping him at it, and he's been with the first team now for a number of weeks, it's been great to welcome him back. It wasn't a reaction, it wasn't a panic decision. It was one of those that we had all the information in front of us. Everybody was telling us he was fit to play, so when Colby's fit, we try and play him.
Now, your thoughts on today's performance and result?
I thought we were absolutely outstanding in the first half and thoroughly deserved the 2-0 lead. I think it was one-way traffic for large parts of the game. My only worry at times in the first half was that we weren't going to get the goal that we deserved, and we had a couple of opportunities and a lot of corners, a lot of free kicks, and thankfully we put 2 in the back of the net, and that's what we haven't been doing. So if you look at the Plymouth performance, probably performed to a similar level on Tuesday night, but we didn't put the ball in the back of the net, and today we did. That gives us the cushion to concede the goal that we did after half time. We obviously didn't want to do it, but we didn't start the second half particularly well, and then there was 10 minutes after that where I thought Preston grew into the game, created a bit of pressure. After that, it probably didn't feel it, but I was relatively comfortable about the control we had in the game and the fact we stopped conceding chances. We competed a lot better. There was always the chance on the break, and we put the ball in the back of the net to get that sort of relief, I think, with the third goal. So overall performance level was very, very high, and ultimately the result's the most important thing.
Like you said at the start there, 2 goals when we're on top. It must be really satisfying to see that improvement from Tuesday is there, and it's showing real progression. Yeah, and when we've had those, we've had the games where we have been on top. Even at home, I know we lost 3-0 to West Brom, but in the first half, after we conceded the goal, we had chance after chance after chance at the Fratton end, and we didn't quite manage to put the ball in the back of the net. And that was missing Tuesday night. It was probably missing in the second half against Hull, apart from the goal that we scored after the kick-off. So yeah, we actually we did it from a goal that it was a 30-yard strike from Murph. Probably the worst chance of the half for us. But we just needed that bit of luck. We needed that break that we probably haven't had so far this season, and the pressure we created from set pieces paid off as well. So yeah, really, really happy. Must be really pleasing to see us starting to pick up goals from set pieces as well.
Yeah, and we've I think we've been relatively unfortunate from set pieces. If I cast my mind back to the Burnley game where Conor Ogilvie hits the inside of the post, Jacob Farrell has a really good chance against Sheffield United, and then Conor Ogilvie again against Oxford, and we've created plenty from set pieces, but haven't been ruthless enough. And when we've the Sheffield Wednesday game, it was a really important set piece that we did end up scoring, and it just shows how important they are. We've ended up scoring from a second phase set piece with Josh Murphy, the set piece for the second goal, and then from the penalty. So yeah, we put a big focus on it, and we're really, really lucky in terms of what Joe Perdomo does and the work that he puts in, and more importantly, the lads are switching on, listening and taking it on board.
What did you say to the boys at half time? 2 goals and that one just before half time, which proved pivotal as well.
Just that we had to expect a reaction from Preston, and we had to make sure that we dealt with that on the pitch, and we probably didn't, so we didn't deal with that particularly well. Preston made 3 changes, they changed their shape. I didn't think it was a game where the coaching staff comes away and goes, oh, we got that spot on tactically. I don't think it was anything to do with tactics today. I thought it was the lads running themselves into the ground, competing, doing the basics of the game really, really well. And when we did that, we got on top, and when we didn't, because I thought there was a spell in the second half where we lost a lot of second balls, we weren't competing particularly well, Preston got on top of us. And we have to realise that at any level you've got to do those basics really, really well, otherwise you get punished.
Marlon back in the side as well, and a new position it looked like.
Yeah, I think Tom McIntyre's done a brilliant job for us over the past few weeks, and there's been times when playing that third game of the week with the travel's been a bit too much for him, and that was something we were really aware of, and just wanted to bring in the experience of Marlon into the side, the leadership. We know he can physically compete, and I think I actually thought he was superb today. I thought his performance was excellent, considering I don't think Marlon's ever played centre half before, and we made a late decision on it yesterday, so there wasn't this huge preparation and here's how you've got to play at the back and here's all the things that we want you to do. And I think that benefited him, to be honest, because I think he's a good enough player and a good enough thinker to be able to adjust and do that. So I'm really, really pleased for Marlon. I know it looks like a bit of a risk sometimes, but we've been thinking about it for a couple of weeks, and it was one of those I guess was a calculated risk for us, and thankfully paid off.
And Terry Devlin coming in back at right back in his second player of the match in as many games at Fratton Park as well.
I mean, I thought he was great today. I thought he was great. He was he played on the front foot. He won his headers. There was a time in the first half where Preston stopped playing out from goal kicks, and Hughes, the left-sided centre half, pushed up towards the halfway line and was competing. And Terry just, I thought, he won header after header. He was on the front foot, competed brilliantly well. Even more impressive considering it's not his position. But I look at it now and I think, well, I think he's got a lot of potential there at right back. So really, really happy for Terry.
Must be incredibly satisfying at the end of the game to walk around the stadium and applaud and cheer with the supporters after a victory as well.
It is. It is. There's this tinge of frustration because we should have had this a bit more often, but it's done now. I'm absolutely delighted that the supporters have finally seen a home win. The atmosphere was brilliant today. There were times when we were 2-1 up where I thought that the entire stadium sort of dragged us through and got us going, and they could sense the importance of the atmosphere and what it meant to everyone on the pitch. And I definitely think that got us through today. So thanks for sticking with us, and we need to just keep going on that trajectory. Written
in the stars for Colby, wasn't it?
It feels like it now. Yeah, it feels like it now. I mean, Colby scores goals. That's what he does. And the thing for us to weigh up was whether we knew everything was safe medically. It was whether he was going to come on at this level. The last time he played football was in League One when he was fully fit, right at it at the back end of a really, really good season. So you never know what that's going to mean when you come into another step up and the difficulties of coming back from heart surgery. So it felt like it was quite emotional towards the end, and a really fitting end to the day.
And some really good momentum to take into the international break now.
It should be. I think this is probably the international break that we probably didn't want to come off the back of this week. I just think we've been really, really good this week, and there were obviously so many times I could stand here and say the performances have been good, but we've not got the result. Today's one where we've put the performance and the result together, which is great. But maybe we've got to look at it and think, okay, maybe it's come at a good time because we can have a really good training period. We can give the boys a bit of time off, and we can attack that week when we get back, which is another really good week of Championship football with 2 away games and back here I think on a Wednesday night against Millwall.